Spinal Tap is the one that's closest to reality. That is what it's like. That is really what it's like. With the
Yeah.
singer's girlfriend and all that. And, you know, the mad manager. And you can't find a dressing room. We've done it. Everybody has done it.
Fighting in the studio.
I've seen it. I've been through it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the, you know, like come away from that guitar. That's me.
I can hear birds chirping.
Well, it's because the door's open.
Well, it's spring, so there's no harm in that.
No, that's what's supposed to happen. So how you doing?
Not bad. So let's start by wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Did you get anything nice? Did you get any nice presents?
I haven't got anything.
You haven't got anything?
Got anything.
You're joking.
No.
You are joking.
No, I'm not joking. No.
That's craziness.
No, it's been years now. Years. It's been what do we get someone who's got everything? Well, I haven't got everything. You just have to spend a bit more.
I'm just going to change something here because it makes me look like a complete dweeb. So
I've got lots of boy. I've got lots of Roxy albums on the shelf.
Yeah, but have you got two of the same ones that are sealed?
Probably.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So this episode, as a birthday treat for you, because you didn't get any presents, we're going to have some fan questions.
Okay.
All right. So
I like them.
you don't have to answer all of them.
I like them. I'll try.
Okay, we'll try. So I've got them all written down. Okay. So what we did, I did, is I posted on various groups on the internet and posed a question. If your question's picked, well done. If it's not picked, I apologise, but there were so many. But anyway, let's start on with a question from Brad Harrison, and he says, "Would Marco appear on stage with other 80s ants, Terry, Chris, Kevin, or reform with a new frontman like the Pistols?" Now, I reckon I know what you're going to say here.
All right. Well, what is it? What am I going to say? No. Yeah, he is sort of crucial to Adam and the Ants. I mean, I hate to admit it, but he is.
Yeah.
We really need him, actually.
Yeah.
It has come up before, like, let's get the band back together, and then we'll get a new singer, and then we'll go out, and then Adam will sue us, and it'll be good publicity. I said, it won't be. It's shit publicity. It's a shit idea, and it's shit publicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually told Adam that, and he said, yeah, but I own the name. I said, I don't think that's the biggest problem with it, Adam.
It's like Spandau Ballet. They went on tour, and they were called Hadley, Keeble, and there was basically just three of them, and they sort of turned around. But people don't want to see that. People want to see the original band.
They want to see the whole point of reunion is to reunite.
Right. So
I know Spandau went out. They went out as Spandau Ballet, and they got a new singer. I don't know if that really worked.
Yeah. Okay. So Brad, I think the answer is Marco says no unless Adam's involved, because otherwise it's not really Adam and the Ants.
No, it's really not Adam and the Ants.
Okay.
I mean, you can argue, but without me, it's still Adam and it could be Adam and the Ants. I mean, I hope lots of people say, "Oh no, it's not the Ants without Marco," but you know, it could do it at a push, but without Adam, no, it's ridiculous. It's impossible.
Yeah,
it isn't. It's not like the Pistols thing, because they're actually a band. It's not Johnny Rotten and the Pistols.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good answer. There you go, Brad. There's your answer. Brad is also the guy I think that does the funny memes on Facebook.
Yes, yes,
particularly about Ant-Rat. But anyway, let's move on.
He tries to kiss Adam. He tries to kiss Adam at a signing once.
No.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Very odd.
I don't remember. I may not have been there, but there's footage of it or photographs of it. So people don't want to be kissed by complete strangers.
So next question is from Christina Bond. Is there
Yeah.
any song in the repertoire that you would have loved to play live but didn't?
No, what, like of the old stuff or,
Yep.
or of the new stuff, the stuff I wrote?
Could be either.
No, we did everything. No, we did everything. You know, when I joined the band, there were some songs I really, really wanted to play, like Cleopatra, Never Trust a Man with Egg on His Face, Plastic Surgery. Well, we didn't do that very much. What else was there? Was another thing I wanted to do, but we didn't do it. Can't remember. There was another track called The Idea that was on the first album that Adam didn't want to do, but I persuaded him.
Okay.
Except I didn't get to play the bit I liked.
Okay, so that's the answer to that one, really, I guess. That track from the first album, perhaps. Okay. Now, look, we've got one here from Lisa. Favorite song to play live that you've written? So that could be anything.
Oh, God, I don't know.
I suppose it changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes. It changes. There's one song I really didn't like playing live.
Go on.
The Magnificent Five of Kings. Although I like the song, I really didn't like playing it. It's really complicated.
Right.
It's got loads of changes in it, and which I put in. But it was just complicated. It was just really complicated for me. You had to keep treading on pedals to change the sound. It was really complicated. I didn't like playing.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a nightmare. Right, David Hegarty. Do you believe Adam has retired from making new music and is happy playing old?
Yes. I don't know if he's happy doing it, but he's not making any new music, and he could make it if he wanted to, but he hasn't made any, so clearly he doesn't want to.
What did you think of the last album that he did?
Bollocks.
Okay. I don't know what the fans think of it.
There's no other answer, is there? There's no other answer. He didn't finish it, did he? He didn't record a proper album, did he? I know he doesn't like being in the studio. I mean, I know he doesn't like recording. He just wants to get in and out as quickly as possible. Which is good, which is why it worked well with us, because I never want to leave the studio, and he never wants to go in the studio. So he sort of just left me to it.
Quite a good compromise.
Well, it's a good combination, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So he went in, did the vocals, buggered off, and then you're in the studio mixing it and doing all the clever stuff.
No, well, obviously we did the music first, then he came in and did the vocals.
Oh right, okay, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, but you were in there longer doing the mixing and stuff while he's just laid down the vocals and gone.
I was in there all bloody day till 4 a.m.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. John Hind.
Yeah.
Bit of a rude question, this one. When you're moving back to London, don't die in swear word Derbyshire.
Again.
He says, I can hear your dog's going off. It says, when are you moving back to London, don't die in Derbyshire. Swear word.
I don't know when I'm moving back to London. I don't know if I am moving back to London. I'm not staying here. I mean, I spend as little time here as I can.
Right.
My girlfriend doesn't like it here either. So she's currently in Goa. She spends 6 months of the year in Goa, which is really not a great thing for the relationship. I think she'd like to live in Goa. I definitely do not wish to live in Goa. I don't know why. I've never been there.
What's she doing
So
in Goa?
I thought she does sort of yoga. She teaches yoga in Goa,
Okay.
and she goes swimming a lot.
Okay.
And she goes swimming, and she hangs out, and she rides a scooter.
Sounds nice. Question here from Rob Wilson. Any sessions that may be aware of from the late 90s or 2000s? And then he says, what was the last session like making hard men, tough bloke, and sausage, as we don't know about that era?
I actually answered all these online.
Did
So
you?
I thought I didn't understand.
Okay,
But I'll answer them again.
it's like Groundhog
I'm
Day.
sorry, I shouldn't have answered them. I didn't know they were your questions. I didn't know they were questions for you. But now I'm getting I didn't read the top bit that it was when you said, right.
Well, it's a double whammy, isn't it? It's a double whammy. They're getting the written answer and they're getting the face-to-face answer. So they got and then also get their name spelt right.
Yeah, should I give completely different answers to what I wrote?
Go on then.
What's the question? What were the sessions?
The question was any sessions we may be unaware of from the late 90s, 2000s, and what was the last session like making hard men, tough blokes, and sausage, as we don't know about that era before they stopped talking?
It was a bit difficult. We did hard men and tough blokes, and we did it in a friend's studio, and he didn't like the studio. And he wasn't really, I don't know, he wasn't really up to sort of working yet. And I sort of pushed him into it, and I thought it would be good for him, and it wasn't. But what do I know about mental health? And then, for some reason, I don't know why, I bought a little 8-track digital recorder. Even though I had a big Mac system at home, in my home studio, I thought we could do it on this thing, which has been really quick and easy. And so we did loads of things, really sort of lying on the floor of my lounge, like with one guitar and one mic, and a little sampler, a little plastic sampler I got. I thought let's go lo-fi. And we did loads of things, some of which I think ended up on Married to the Gunner's Daughter, it's called. And but I thought these are just basic rough sketches for ideas. We're just having a laugh, and we're lying on the floor, and we're just bunging it down. There's loads of mistakes, and I don't really know how the songs go, and we're just doing it. It's like a stream of consciousness recording. Right. But the idea was you then take these ideas and work them up into proper tracks. But I think some of those things ended up on Gunner's Daughter, as they were.
Oh, God. And were you credited on that then?
Am I? Yeah, I don't know. I've never looked at it.
Okay, I've got a question. I don't see why everyone else should get questions. I've got a question. Yeah. So let me just turn around. As you probably know, well, you'll definitely know, that was released for Record Store Day. Okay.
Yeah.
On gold vinyl.
Yeah.
They're quite hard to get, I believe. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So
I haven't got one.
What's your opinion on that release, and B, what's your opinion on Record Store Day in general?
I don't know very much about Record Store Day. I don't buy vinyl anymore. I've got a record player actually. My opinion on that release, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the gold vinyl, but I'm fine with it. Whatever people want to buy, if they like it.
Yeah.
How much was it? How much it to buy?
It was £35. I mean, I think Record Store Day really is to help independent record stores, because obviously, it's tough. So it was designed, I think, to do, to create a revenue stream for them by creating these limited edition releases. But what's happened is the dealers have gone in and bought shed loads of them and then stuck them on eBay for ridiculous amounts of money. That's what's got everyone's back up.
Yeah.
But I think shops
Right.
generally say you can only have one
Well,
copy.
they're bound to do that.
Yeah, it's the way of the world, isn't it? But
Right.
but anyway, it's basically
Yeah, I've never bought.
it's no different from the
Is it
normal release.
sealed?
This is sealed. Yeah, I've not opened
sealed?
it. I'm not going to open it. It's got a little here,
All right.
here, limited edition.
Because I've never seen the gold. I've never seen. I've never actually seen the disc.
Unfortunately, you won't see this one because I'm not opening it.
Right. Yes, I've seen colour.
And the other one was this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which I think
was it.
I'm not sure if that was this a record store day.
Very shiny.
Yeah, it's got all
I
that,
don't know.
all that stuff. All that stuff.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay. Well, it's a boxed Kings of the Wild Frontier remastered by
Oh yes,
band.
yes, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Original release, catalogue.
It came out ages ago.
I think it was
I've got it somewhere. I've got it. I've seen it.
2016 it was. 2016.
Right, yeah, I've got it.
And it's sort of got a sort of embossed.
Yeah, I've got it. Is it?
It's
Oh right, okay. I mean, I've never played it.
The CDs, it's got the original album, Live at Chicago, disc 3 is the videos, those DVDs, Live in Tokyo, disc 4 is oh no, that's the LP. It's got a gold vinyl LP. Oh, I just think it's great. Great packaging. That's it.
Yeah, but it is all about the packaging, isn't it? It's, for this sort of thing, it's like I completely understand that. I mean, I've got all this Roxy and Bowie stuff. I'm never going to play it, but I just want to own it.
Yeah. Dave Hutchins says, "What Ant song do you hate?"
I don't really hate any of them. I mean, all of them, I think. No, I don't hate Ant Rap, no. Wish one released it as a single, but I don't hate it. No, I don't hate any of them. There's some that are obviously better than others, and some I think we didn't do very well. Or we didn't, you always want to go, but everybody wants to go back and redo things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I would remix Kings of Frontier. Well, I would like to remix Kings of Frontier, Kings of Wild Frontier, but I wouldn't, because it is what it is. It's to some people, it's perfect as it is. I mean, I wouldn't remix Good for Your Pleasure. I wouldn't remix Propophilia. I wouldn't remix. In fact, a friend of mine, what was his name? He was asked to remix Ziggy Stardust. He got 2 tracks in, and he thought, there's nothing I could do. It's sort of good as it is. And he had to go at that, hang on to yourself. It doesn't really sound, he turned the guitar up a bit, but it doesn't sound any different. He just thought, this is pointless. I don't want to change it.
Yeah, leave it as it is. I agree.
Yeah, leave it as it is. Although, every fibre of my being, some of it goes, when I hear this stuff, I think, I wish you hadn't done that, or that guitar's not loud enough, or the guitar's not loud enough in Dog Eat Dog. I could have played better bits on Ant's Invasion. The Human Beings I didn't do very well, because I didn't know what to play, but I know what to play now. But it's all things like that, but it's pointless.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting what you were saying about changing things and all that. Yellow, who we spoke about in the previous episode, they did an album called 1 Second. And Dieter actually said that it was too perfect. So Boris spent so long getting it exactly right. They took away that. they took that human element of because it was all perfect, and the albums after then have been more, more rough. If you listen to early Yellow, it's quite different to 1 second, and that kind of harks back to what you were saying about you don't want to have a perfect sound. You don't want it to be exactly right because it doesn't sound right. It has to
Well, you
have a
want
little
it to
bit.
be perfect for you. It doesn't have to be doesn't have to be technically perfect, but it has to be artistically perfect.
Yeah.
There's actually a remix station. The station. I mean, it's not any good. It's not as good as the original one.
Yeah.
There are things in it I can now hear. The sort of guitar parts I hear in it that I've never heard before. But it's just not as good.
Yeah. Dave Hutchins again says, "Who do you think the best guitarist ever is?"
There is no best. There is no best guitarist ever. It's
No.
like, what's the best color in the world? What's the
Yeah.
best food in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. And he also says, "Is there much unheard stuff in the vault, wherever that may be?"
No, no. It's all been. It's all out. It's all out there.
Okay.
What's not out there? Maybe kind of unfinished demos or just like little sort of guitar riffs. There's like kind of maybe there's like a sort of drum machine and a guitar riff, or a drum machine and a vocals, but it never went anywhere. But it would be like 30 seconds or something. It's not something you can release.
Yeah. Now we're going a backtrack here. So Mariette says Marco never spoke about the breakup. Well, you have spoken about it, not in a long sense, but you have spoken about it. Can you say anything? And would he like to play with the ants from Kings or Prince Charming to close the chapter? Well, I think you've spoken about that. You would if
Yeah.
the
Let
pattern
me
was
get a cigarette. Let me get a cigarette first.
okay. Whilst Marco is getting a cigarette, let me just say, please check out the previous episodes on the channel. We've got 2 other interviews with Marco. I'll put the thumbnails on the screen. And there's also an episode where we talk about, I talk about a print that was done by Aid. And Aid has also done some other prints of the rest of the band. So I'll put a link in to his page and you can check them out. And Marco is back. Welcome back. About the breakup with Adam, can you say anything? And would you play with the other ants?
Yeah, I play with the other ants. I could say lots of things, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because I read that question, and you're not going to like this answer. It's none of your business, actually.
It's saying my internet connection is unstable. Let's see if it gets back. Right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And it's also not your story, is it? It's kind of.
It's not your story. It's
Yeah.
it's not my. It is not my story to tell. It wasn't me who was coming through the crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good answer.
And
And
I'd have to tell you. I'd have to tell you. I'd have to share details about him that he might not want people to know.
sure.
And it's not my place to tell you all about Adam.
Yeah. No, good answer.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go and publicly talk about a friend's. Lots of people who've had breakdowns and blah blah blah, and as we all do, like mental health problems, addiction problems, and I've sort of seen it happen. But I wouldn't go and talk about it publicly. It's none of my business.
Yeah. Okay. Peter says, would Marco like to produce a friend or foe box set like Kings with live recordings and photos? Like that box set I showed you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I don't know what there is left from Friend or Foe. I mean, I think there's demos and stuff, but I can't really remember. I don't think there's enough material
Yeah.
to do a live, to do a Friend or Foe box set.
Whatever they did, I'm sure it would sell. People buy everything, don't they?
Also, I'm really getting to the point where I don't want to keep revisiting it. I don't want to keep. I've done it once. I don't want to do it again. I've said everything I wanted to do. I did everything I wanted to say, and it's like I'm just sort of doing it for the sake of it, really. It's like, I don't think, I'm not sure how interesting it would be. It wouldn't be that interesting to me.
No. Okay. Bridget says, did Marco ever get any of Adam's leftover chicks asking for a friend? It's a bit of a cheeky question.
No, what does that even mean?
I don't know.
No.
Right, I didn't understand this. From Dave Bowers. Surely there's a bravest of the brave question. What does that mean?
I don't know anything about this. This is Bravest of the Brave, which is a single or an album or a track or something that Adam 10 years ago said that he was just about to release and has never released it.
Right, okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, so that's the answer. We don't know what that is. And John Hines says Young Men Rocking compilation and Digital Tenderness. Now I think Digital Tenderness was going to be a DVD and it never came out. But I think it has kind of come out because there was the greatest hits thing with the documentary. And he's also, oh, here we go. Here we go. He says here, Prince Charming, fans say wasn't finished with some songs sounded like demos. What does Marco say? Was it because of touring, lack of time?
They don't sound like demos. What sounds like a demo on Prince Charming?
I don't understand some of these questions. I don't think it sounds like a demo.
No, I don't understand. No. It took fucking ages to make that.
Okay, so I think the answer is no. And if fans think it does sound like a demo, then they're wrong. Duncan says, are you going to write a book? Now, you did tease that you wanted to the last interview. And how much of the interesting stuff would be left out? Whatever the interesting stuff is.
Well, yeah, what is the interesting stuff? What bits are interesting?
I don't know. I don't know. It depends. I mean, I think people like gossip, don't they? And they like scandal. And I don't.
They like gossip, yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Well, I could tell you lots of gossip, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It's my gossip. It's our gossip.
Yeah.
There's lots of tons of great gossip about various artists and other bands. I hear it all the time, but I'm not going to
write a book about it. No. Okay.
Write a book about it. Dude, by page one.
But is the book still potentially going to happen?
Yeah. I've got a deal for it and everything.
Have you really? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Any idea of a title?
No, not yet. It's got a title, but I'm not sure. No, I'm not going to. There's going to be some announcement. I'd like there to be a proper announcement.
Okay, well, that's exciting news.
I'm just talking bollocks. It is, in fact, as far as I hear, I have a co-writer, Jane Savage, and she tells me that the first draft is 45,000 words, which is halfway through.
So have you spoken and then she's gone away and transcribed it? And
I've written. There was a point where I thought Jane might pull out, and I thought, fuck, I'm not looking for another writer. I would do this myself. But as we get more into it, it's just impossible. There's just no way. There's no way I can do it on my own. Mm-hmm. I'm not a writer. I'm not focused enough. Because I even forget sort of what tense I'm in. Like, because she's asked me to write things in the present tense, like it's happening at the moment, and I always forget that and go. And then, right, the idea of the book is it starts in 1972, where I see Ziggy Stardust, and at that point I decided I'd like to be on Top of the Pops. And then it ends in 1982, which is Adam and Yance's last gig, roughly. So it's that 10-year period.
Can I pre-order it now?
But before people start like complaining and making comments, I realise it's not exactly 10 years.
Sure.
It's not exactly to the day 10 years from Ziggy Stardust to our last gig.
Yeah. That sounds really interesting. So you can weave in all the stories of everything, that how you went from your early career through the whole madness of the ants. And yeah, I think it'll be fascinating.
One of the things that struck me is like how important Top of the Pops is to this whole story. Which is like, if I hadn't seen Bowie do Top of the Pops, I wouldn't have wanted to be on Top of the Pops.
Sure.
And it was our first Top of the Pops appearance that started everything off.
Yeah.
That was our crucial appearance. And then our further appearances actually just increased the momentum and made us bigger. But it was our first Top of the Pops that obviously, if we hadn't done it, if we hadn't done Top of the Pops, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah. It's a shame that it's gone as well, isn't it? Because it's kind of like, it was kind of like the bastion of the music industry. And now,
yeah, but it's not relevant anymore. It doesn't work. I mean, the whole thing was based around the charts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was for getting things up and down the charts. So there's no charts, and in fact, there's no records either, except for there's no real kind of record sales.
Yeah. Okay, so Duncan says, what original Let It Rock, Sex and Seditionaries clothing does he have? Any pictures? Has he sold much? What was your favourite piece? And do you still have the Anarchy shirt? So quite a few questions there.
Yes. I had two Anarchy shirts. Sid nicked one of them, my 100, one of them at the 100 Club, and I've got the other one.
Okay. And did you sell any?
I got rid of all the seditionary stuff because I didn't wear it. I didn't really like. I did like it, but I mean all the parachute shirts and all that, and the bondage trousers. I didn't really wear it by that time. That was early 70s, or late 76. They came out with that, and early 77. I had a black bondage suit. I had the thing with the straps going across all that, but by mid 77, it was too punk, and I stopped wearing punk clothes. I've never worn them since. I mean, they're great pieces and all that, but I stopped wearing them like in 1977. And then the World's End stuff, which was my girlfriend, I met Sabrina, my girlfriend, when she was working in World's End.
Oh, really?
Not World's End, one of the other shops, but that's where I met her. And so I used to go in there and buy stuff that I didn't really want. In fact, she used to work in the women's department, so I used to go and buy women's clothes and then give it away, just to sort of, just because I had an excuse to speak to her. But anyway, when we got together, she got a third discount because she worked there, and I got a third discount because I'm me. So we got everything really cheap.
Nice.
So we had everything. I mean, every fucking thing. Things we'd never worn, things we'd never taken out of the bag, and some of it's still upstairs. Her stuff's still upstairs. She wants to put on an auction, but the prices have got really, really, really big because some of that World's End stuff, and she's got pieces that have only ever been worn on the catwalk, one-offs.
Really?
Yeah, things that were never sold in the shop. I mean, she's got. There's one coat. There's a black floor-length sheepskin coat with a great collar.
Mm.
And it was on some auction site for $17,000. And she's got three of them.
Really?
And then she's got. We had everything, but over the years, it just got. Sabrina's got rid of most of it. But I kept the Let It Rock stuff. I've got some suits. I've got a draped jacket. All the shoes fell apart. And the first things I bought were these white, the white Narrow's got the white pointed brothel creepers.
Okay.
Those were the very first things I bought.
Okay. Paula Jean says, "What hobbies do you have apart from music,
I
cooking,
don't have any.
ironing?"
I
And she
don't have
said,
any hobbies.
and she says she's sorry she mobbed you in Chicago in the 90s. The autograph she got burned in a house fire, and can she have another one?
Yes, yes, you can have another one.
So you don't do any hobbies. I suppose music is your hobby.
Yeah, I don't have any hobbies. I don't need one. Actually, I do need one because I'm sort of idle at the moment. And as much as I like writing this book, I thought I people have asked me to a book for years, and years. I always put it off, and I didn't want to do it. And so I even started a couple of times, and I thought I don't really know how to do this. And then I asked other people who've done books, and it was no clearer. And I thought, oh, maybe this will be my creative outlet from now on. Maybe I'll be a writer. I'm not a writer. There's no way I can do it. It's my co-writer Jane. It takes her like a day to do a chapter. It takes me a day to do a paragraph.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Look,
I some of it is a lot of it is my own words. I write out, then as she puts it, she rewrites it in English.
so we got another question from John Hind. Did you enjoy Live Aid?
What are questions for John Hind?
Yeah, John. He says, "Did you
Very
enjoy Live
nosy, John.
Aid? Memories of the day and the events
Mm-hmm.
leading up to it. What can you remember about Live Aid?"
Things I don't want to tell you about. What do I remember about Live Aid? It was, lots of things. I actually got to look at the back of Brian May's amps. This is just for guitarists only. And you know how you're never allowed on stage, especially to look at behind Brian May's amps. And I always thought, well, how does he rig them up? And it's really, really complicated. So I actually managed to get with it, look at Brian May's amps, and met everybody. Pete Townsend was really pissed off.
You mentioned about him previously, didn't you?
Well, he's very much one of my major heroes, Pete. And I said something I think I should have said, which is like, I was really, really great day. Can't wait to see the Who. I haven't seen the Who since like Sundown Records. It just sort of went, it was sort of, but actually, if he'd said, "Wow, that's so nice, thank you so much," I've sort of lost respect for him because he's pretty curmudgeonly, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. And there was another little question. He said, "Were you asked to appear on the Band Aid single, Feed the World?"
Oh, I think we were away.
You're touring, were
They
you?
wouldn't ask me anyway. They would have asked Adam. I think they did ask him, and it was just something he couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Jay Warden says, "Best bass player you've ever played with?"
Probably Claire Kenny.
Okay.
I played with her in Shakespeare's Sister a couple of years ago when we did that tour.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've known Claire for years. There's a lot of good bass players. I mean, Chris Constantino's a great bass player. Dean Garcia from Sinead's band's great. Claire's great. Andy Rourke was great. I did some sessions with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good.
Okay. This is a multifaceted question from Pedro. How did you feel when Kevin left?
Very sad when Kevin left.
Was that the Royal Variety performance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it wasn't because of that.
Right.
Although Adam was pissed off at him for misreading the situation, but it wasn't because of that.
You can see Adam's really angry in the footage, can't you? Sort of.
Oh, he's always really angry about something. No, he's not always very angry.
Do you want me to cut that bit
yeah,
out?
no, Kevin.
Do you want me to cut that bit out?
No, leave it in. No. Well, Kevin was doing gear. Kevin was doing heroin.
Right.
And just in what can you do? There's nothing you can do.
Sure. Okay.
I didn't know that. I don't know anything about heroin, not ever having done it, but I do, having been around it. I do know there's nothing that you can do. You can't. You know what it's like with addiction. You have to want to get clean. If you don't want to get clean, there's nothing I can say, or Adam can say, or anybody can say.
No.
And you can't function at all. So you certainly can't play. You can't get out of bed. So, you know.
It's like Sid Vicious, isn't it? It's just, that was the beginning of the end.
Well, he was doing gear before he joined the Pistols.
Who, Sid?
Yeah.
But didn't Sid's mother gave him the final dose, I believe?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, I mean, I get it now. I didn't understand then, but it was like he's going to get it from somewhere. He's going to go and rob someone or buy it or get involved in situations that. So she might as well just give it to him, because it's although it killed him. You know, I was going to say it could have been worse, but it couldn't have been much worse, could it?
No.
But he might have died in a more horrible way. So I understand why. I get it why. Because she just didn't want him going back out on the streets of New York.
Sure.
Which is not a great place to, particularly in the 70s, was not a great place to be staggering around the streets of New York off your tits. I mean, you're probably not going to make it back.
Yeah.
Going to very, very dodgy places, talking to very, very dodgy people, trying to get gear. But it's all a fucking nightmare, isn't it? I mean, it is the nightmare drug. It always was the nightmare drug. There's probably worse drugs now, but thank God I don't really know anything about it. So when someone's on it, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it's like John Frusciante from the Chili Peppers. There's nothing they could do.
Yeah.
And he had to leave the band for 10 years, get straight, and then rejoin the band. You can't carry on with them.
How did you feel when Adam made you wear outfits?
Oh, I like the outfits.
Yeah, that was the look.
Yeah, but me and Terry and Kevin came from like glam rock, so we had to wear outfits. Obviously, it's like not a big surprise. It's like we're going to wear makeup, and I would have more. Even if Adam said we're going to wear makeup, I would have worn it anyway.
Yeah. While we're here,
yeah,
a band, and I'm guessing you're going to like these guys. Band who I really, really like are these guys.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Hang on. My iPad is running out, so I'm going to. But carry on. Yes, of course. I love the sweet. We love the sweet.
Yeah.
We want the sweet.
Sweet, fantastic. And also, final question from Pedro is: have you been in touch with Rema members since the documentary? Now, I don't know anything about this documentary, so.
Well, they've been in touch with me.
Right.
It's the Rema was this band I used to be in before the Ants, and now, and then I left to join the Ants because I still wanted to make music instead of sonic experiments, and then now they've had this resurgence where everyone is saying what geniuses what Rema were. Shut up.
Dog eat dog going on live.
I know. It's like I remember when I can't remember. It's when Dirk, it was either re-released or he got new reviews or something like that. And he got all these great reviews. And Adam was like, well, where the fuck were you when I brought it out the first time? Where were all these people who loved this album? It was a complete, it did reasonably well, but it was completely savage. Now he said, well, now it seems to be a classic. Why is it a classic now? And 5 years ago, it wasn't a classic. Well, it's the same with Rema. Now that there's all these people coming up in documentaries saying, you know, what genius were, how great it is, what amazing. We were trying to get something. But anyway, I didn't do the documentary.
Okay.
I'm sure they're annoyed. They're all annoyed at me for doing the documentary, but I'm sure they didn't actually expect me to do it.
So what? So were you in the documentary then?
No.
So what? Hang on. Let me just look at his question again, because I'm confused. Have you been?
Have I been in touch with the members of Rema?
So they did a documentary,
yes.
but they didn't include you. That's what he's asking, I think.
Well, I didn't want to be in it. I said no, I didn't want to be in it.
Right. Got you. Okay. And where is this? Is this online?
Because,
is it online, this documentary?
I think you can see it online. I've never seen it. I think you can see it online. Somebody else, a Canadian guy called Marco did it. Marco, some Italian name, a bit like mine. I've never seen it. I think, yeah, I don't know. I've just seen the trailer for it.
Yeah, I saw a trailer on YouTube, and that's it.
I don't want to talk about this with you.
Right.
So I just, when you contact, well, no, I don't want to talk to you about it. I didn't want to talk to them about it.
Yeah. Also, you know, sometimes people want to talk about parts of your career that aren't important to you. So why would you focus on it? It's like, move on. I'm not sure if it's important to me. I mean, all the bits of my career have to be important. So they're all me, and I'm important. So, but I left. I mean, I left the band for a reason. I left the band so I didn't want to do it anymore. I don't want to revisit it. Sure.
Really.
Okay. Martin asks, can't imagine he'd want to discuss it. So that's a good start to a question.
That's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah. But interesting to hear Marco's thoughts on Save the Gorilla.
On Save the Gorilla?
Yeah. I'll just give a little bit of context to people. I'm sure everyone knows. Basically, the Diane Fossey Gorilla charity got Adam to do a song of Stand and Deliver, changing the lyrics to Save the Gorilla. I believe that's correct. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you
obviously
were not very happy.
No, I wasn't very happy because he was out. He was on a manic high. He was completely out to lunch. He didn't know what he was doing. And Diane Fossey, the office, is down the bottom of his road, and he would go past it. He's probably been past it every day for the last 20 years. And just one day, in a kind of, you know, manic episode, he just went in and said, "I want to do a single for you," because he was, you know, he was paying. It was just, you know, when you're manic, you know, you want to do everything. Well, you're manic. You don't know what you're doing. And they said yes. We were, do the single. So I can't remember because I wasn't there. And then one of the guys phoned me up and said, "We're doing the single." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "How did you get my number?" And this was landline. "How did you get my number?" And he said, "Oh, I got it out of the directory." And I'm ex-directory. And I said, "So right there, first thing is a lie." So yeah, he was clearly very unwell. Clearly, I mean, and he just thought, well, you know, most people would just go, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with this guy," across the road. But no, they just, I just thought he was being exploited.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to do him any good. It was a terrible version.
I think there's a CDR of it floating around somewhere.
Is there? I don't know.
Yeah,
There's video of him recording it with Boz. I don't know what the fuck Boz.
I've
But, I mean,
seen that. Yeah.
I called him. I called Boz up and said, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" Um, he said, "Oh, he's all right." He's not all right, Boz. He's not all right. You know. And so anyway, and then I think I can't. They got in touch and said, "Well, we know that we know that you're not going. We know that you refused to let us release it, but we're going to release it anyway." So I thought, oh, are you? And obviously, you don't know how intellectual property works. It's my song. I've got 50% of the copyright, and I don't want you to do it. And so it was pulled.
Okay, that's answered that, Martin.
Mm.
Thank you for asking the question. Right, here we go. This is the nerdy stuff. This is guitar questions.
Oh, oh,
Here we
good.
go. So another
Nice.
person's asked what your favourite guitar was. I've forgotten who that was. So we'll start with that one. What's your favourite guitar?
My favourite guitar.
Yeah.
My favourite guitar. What of mine?
I'm guessing it just says your favourite. Oh, I guess one that you've played. You're playing.
Well, I don't play all the time. If I were, and I'm not saying I will, ever to go back on stage, I would bring I think it's my 1960 yellow Les Paul Jr. The only thing I don't like about it is it's yellow. But apart from that, it's my favourite guitar. And I've got a Epiphone Century that I got for like 300 quid. And then I had to fix it up, and that cost me more than it actually was worth. So that's a guitar I use all the time. I've got a black Strat that I use all the time. I've got my other Les Paul, my original Adam and the Ants white Les Paul with a skull and crossbones sticker on it, which has become really famous because people make copies of it now.
That's the white one, isn't it?
Yeah, the white one.
Yeah.
I actually play it very much. I retired it about the time of Viva Rock. I retired it because I feel it was kind of like it was sort of creaking, and I thought the neck might come off one night. So I retired it, and it's been in its case. And I haven't really used it for anything since. But I love it. It's not as good a guitar as the yellow one. Those are my two favourite guitars: the 60s Les Paul Junior, and the whatever it is 64 Epiphone Century.
Okay. There's a load of questions from Emlyn about what amps did you use? Did you change things up? Did you use different guitars for overdubs?
Yes.
Is that a Firebird 7 or Man Called Marco?
No, it isn't. It's a bass. It's a Fender bass, fuzz bass. Firebird 7 don't sound anything like that.
Okay, let's just stick on this question. Was the solo on Here Comes the Grump a single take, lots of takes, or improvised or worked out beforehand?
Worked out beforehand.
Right. And she says she's asking because it's her favourite guitar solo. Marco doesn't get the recognition up with John McGeoch in my book.
Right.
That's nice.
Well, I agree. Well, like John said.
Oh my God. Another question. Any works in progress apart from the book? And how was working with Sinead and Shakespeare's sister? This is from John Hind again.
How was working? Well,
because you did say last time that you're going to have news for us. Is that the book?
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah. Apart from that, I don't have any news for you.
The book news is good enough for me. Here's a weird question.
Apart from the painter's going to come and paint the dining room ceiling, that's big news, I think.
That's big news, yeah. And so, who is your best friend? This is from John Hind again.
I have lots of best friends. I have a couple of best friends. Siobhan is one of my best friends.
Okay.
sometimes she's my bestest friend. But she goes away a lot, and she lives in LA a lot of the time. Or she was living in LA. She's moved back to London. She moved back to London about 5 years ago. So that's why I did Shakespeare's Sister Tour.
Okay.
Because Siobhan and Claire were doing it. Obviously, Siobhan's doing it. But...
we've got so many questions. I want to pick ones that are good. So here's one from Andrew Topper Walsh. Favorite ant video and your favorite role?
My favorite ant video.
I'll tell you my favorite one is Goody Two Shoes when you're outside playing and then Adam gives you the £5 note,
Right.
or the pound note or whatever it was. That's my favorite. But it's up to your question. What's your favorite?
That's all right. Probably ant music.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I do think the quality of that video is so fuzzy. Why don't they get a nice clean copy of it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's my screen needs cleaning. Question from Adam.
Wait, does this video degrade? What?
Yeah, but I'm sure they can touch it up. Sure they can. They can restore old films, can't they?
Yeah, I'm sure they can. But no one's ever done it because it's, I don't know, it's just on YouTube and it's a bit dead, really, isn't it? It's just an old video.
Okay. Question from Adam Ann, Ant Music for Life. Live in Manchester. Is there a video of the full gig? And is there any video of Friend or Foe strip Vive la Rock tours?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I mean, filming gigs in those days, I mean, now you can do it on a phone, obviously, or a laptop, or you know, you need lots of gear, and lots of lights and cameras and a big recording system to do it. So it was expensive and hard to do it unless you were intending to release it. We never intended to release it. So no, there's no, unless there's sort of individual news companies that turned up, because there's always, like, you know, when you do kind of America or Australia, like the local news people turn up and film a couple of numbers, because there's probably some of that hanging around.
Yeah. Andrew Henry Llewellyn Davies says, if you could live out the whole period 1980 to 85, is there anything you'd change?
Oh God, yeah, of course.
That's a big question, isn't it?
Who wouldn't?
Basically, you could say everything. I mean, if I think about last week, is there anything I'd change? Yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose he wants to know what, wouldn't he? I suppose I would. I guess I would have changed me. I think it's like I didn't. I was always kind of like. I was always stressed. I was permanently stressed by being in this band. But I think anyone's always permanently stressed. I would, you know, I would try to relax and sort of enjoy it. So I didn't enjoy a lot of it. A lot of it I was just in total anxiety, really. I didn't like doing the Prince Charming review. I didn't like. I mean, once the ants went, and then we did Friend or Foe, and we did it just me and Adam, and it was just brilliant. It was the best recording experience of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just me. I just don't like having people in the way, and I've always liked, particularly recording, I like to keep the working personnel small. You know, basically 2 or 3 people were, you know, in that control, because I never leave the control room basically except to go to the toilet or to get a cup of tea. I mean, I get there at 11 a.m. and I'm in that room till 4 a.m. And sometimes I really have to stop myself. I said, look, everybody else is like kind of falling asleep. So I have to say, okay, we'll call it a night. But otherwise, I wouldn't go home. I'd probably be one of those people who sleep on the sofa. I just never wanted to leave the control room. It was my very happy, special place. But, you know, the stage, I was always really uncomfortable with it. I used to wake up and I haven't actually written about this in the book because I've forgotten about it. The only time I didn't suffer stage fright was when we came off stage. We came off stage and I thought, oh, thank God that's over. And then I'd be okay and I'd go to bed and then wake up in the morning with that dreaded feeling of like, oh no, I've got to do it again tonight.
Yeah. How do you deal with stage fright when you go on?
I don't know. I mean, you know, I have tried hypnotism. Obviously, there's a great fallback of drugs, but that just leads to even worse things. I don't drink. I didn't drink then, and that would have been really bad. So I just would have I just would have polished up a bottle of vodka before I got on stage and be completely useless. I did hypnotism and therapy. I mean, it's a big fucking thing to be a performer and to be scared of going on stage. You know, it's sort of it does ruin your life, which it did. And I would have found some way to deal with that. It's not just it wasn't just being scared of it. I was just uncomfortable with it, and actually most of the time bored.
These are very latest questions, which I didn't actually have in my little notepad. Right. Chuck Davis. So he says, I ask about the writing and recording process with Adam. Did it change through the years? The stellar leap from the original Car Trouble to Marco's collaboration was a sea change. It's my opinion that the Ant Pirroni co-writes were superior in concept and execution, and I'm curious as to how they came to be. It's Chuck Davis.
Well, they came to be in a very primitive way, which is basically two guys in a room, which a lot of the time was my room at home at my mum and dad's, with acoustic guitars, and we would just swap ideas backwards and forwards. I'd have a chord sequence. What generally happened is I'd have a chord sequence that we got from somewhere. We'd either actually written it or just borrowed it from somewhere. So we had this chord sequence, and Adam had a lyric book. He wouldn't have lyrics for that particular song. He would just look through his book and go, oh, maybe I've got something that fits. I've got something that fits. Because he was always writing lyrics, but he didn't know what he was writing for. They were just lyrics. So, and then we would try and get lyrics to fit, and then we'd get a verse and a chorus and a rudimentary middle eight. And that's all we'd have really, and that's all we needed really, because the rest was sort of just filled in by me with instrumentals, intros and stuff like that. Would take it into the studio, but as long as you had a verse and a chorus and not even sometimes you would have an instrumental, because Alan's very impatient, so it's like just get the bits done that he's sort of interested in doing, what he sings on. And he didn't really want to sort of, you know, the bits he doesn't sing on, he wasn't really interested in. He just left that to me. So, you know, we get a verse, chorus, and a bridge.
Were there any arguments? So let's say Adam's laid down the vocals, and then you stayed in the studio and done your bits and pieces. Were there any arguments on what you'd done? Did he ever say that don't like that, change that, or did he accept what you'd created?
Yeah, what, in the recording process or the writing process?
No, both actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you're writing, he goes, yeah, that's not happening. Have we got anything else? What if it does this? And I think it should do that. No, I don't get that. I'm not hearing that.
Right.
But that happens that is the process. That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, the only thing he really didn't like on Kings was, and all this is sort of coming back. Otherwise, if you'd asked me like a couple of weeks ago, I would have said I can't remember anything. But now this is all forcing it out of me. What he really didn't like, because he used to come in, we'd lay the backing track down, and we didn't do them in order. Sometimes people record all the backing track and then drummers. they record all the drums and the drummers go home. Then you put all the bass on, and the bass player goes home. We didn't do it like that. We would just do a drum track, then some bass would go on. No, I would know. We did it differently with every track. Generally, on Kings, there was either just a rhythm what was going click, 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 and I put a rhythm guitar, a rough rhythm guitar down, sometimes wrong, down, and then Chris would play drums, and then Terry would overdub things, and then they would finish. They wouldn't even finish doing it. There would just be a rough beat. Then you put the bass on. Then I'd go and put all the guitars on, and then we take them off again, and then we start again, and then we put another drum beat down, and then put some vocals on, and then we take them off, and it was all like that. So it's not one linear sort of logical process. It was all bits and bits. It was all bits and bits. Because Chris, I'd just come in, and Chris would say, "What do you want to do today? What do you want to do today, pal?" And I'd say, "Oh, I want to do this today." And it goes, and so I'd do it, and then I'd sit there and fiddle about with it for an hour. And he said, "Have you got any ideas for this at all?" And I said, "Well, no, not really." I said, "Okay, we'll move on, do something else, and come back to this." It was all big. Chris's big motto was like, just do the things you want to keep, and then we'll come back and work all the other stuff out later. So the thing he really didn't like, and it wasn't an argument or anything, he said, I don't get it. It was Feed Me to the Lions, and it had all these kind of like, feedbacky Robert Frippy sort of things on it. And I decided to change it to this kind of John Barry Ipcress file thing, like this sort of twangy Ipcress file thing, because I'd gotten a Rickenbacker 12 string, and I really, really wanted to use it on anything. And he said, I don't like it. And he said, "No, it's just," I said, "What's it supposed to be?" I said, "Well, it's supposed to be the Ipcress file." And he said, no, it was better before. Do what you did before. Do what you did in the demo. Do what you did in the demo was a big thing I heard a lot, actually. It's not like the demo, because I would like to change everything, and Adam would sort of like to keep it like the demo. Which may go a long way to explaining Married to the Gunner's Daughter.
Yeah. Steve Webster has said, this is a good question. Have you met people you admired, respected, to find out they are obnoxious idiots and you wish you'd never met them? I think everyone has, haven't they? He wants you to name names there. He wants you to name names.
Yeah.
You're not going to?
No. I met people I haven't admired, and they were obnoxious idiots. I mean, it's safe to say these things now, but I mean, like, I thought Jimmy Savile was a fucking creep, but we all know he's a creep now.
Yeah.
I thought he was a creep all along before I ever met him, or we did Jim Will Fix It.
Yeah.
He just came out. I was just standing outside his dressing room with him. I was just talking to him. And he comes up and he starts the stupid voice, are you not there? Now then. I was just kind of, I thought he talks like that all the time.
Yeah. Okay, look, basically the answer is you haven't really met people you respected to find out they're idiots, but you've met people that you knew were idiots, and it was confirmed to you that they are idiots. I think that's a good question.
Yeah, one person I didn't. I mean, I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's a genius, which is Pete Townsend. We won the Rock and Pop Awards. No, we didn't. We won a Brit Award. I can't remember. We won some award.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at this table, and there were just photographers everywhere. And I just felt a big kiss on the side of my face. And I turned around, and it was this big nose, and it was Pete. And I was like, kissed by one of your heroes. Then he sort of staggered off, and then he was paralytic. then he fell over a table. Then he, you know, then some people tried to help him up, and he tried to fight them. And you know, it wasn't funny. It wasn't, you know, whoever it was not a great. It's not a terrible state to be, you know, not, you know, and but especially one of your heroes, one of the people you like I said, I think he's a genius, and I respect him. I just think he's amazing, and to see this person in such a state.
Well, that was what, in the 80s?
It was a terrible state. It's terrible. I mean, like the worst drunk in the worst club. Yeah. But that's how it gets, doesn't it? I mean,
is he like that now? Is he clean now? Or?
No. That was the period. I think that was his last really big, bad period of drinking.
Right.
I think.
Here's a question from me to end this. So I saw on Twitter, obviously Clem Burke, the drummer from Blondie, died sadly recently, and someone said that there was a girl wearing a Blondie t-shirt, and he went up and said, "I'm really sorry to hear about Clem," and she looked at him and said, "Who's he?" And he said, "If you're going to wear a t-shirt, can you please at least know who some of the band members are?" And I sort of thought, yeah, that's probably right. And the number of people who came out and said you don't need to know who the band are to wear the t-shirt, and you don't. And I just thought, I mean, if I was in a band and I had a t-shirt and people were buying the t-shirt and didn't know who I was, I think I'd rather they did know who I was. But there again, I'm probably quite happy to be selling the t-shirt. I'm conflicted.
Lots of people. There were lots of people. I can say this now because Clem's dead, and I like Clem. I didn't know him very well. I met him a few times. I met him in New York, and he was a really nice guy. He didn't mean this arrogantly. He was just, I don't know, it was just a silly thing he said, yeah, but the thing about Blondie is like everybody people come to see the band. Like with Adam and the Ants, people only come to see Adam. I didn't say anything, but I really want to say, Clem, people just think she's Blondie.
Yeah.
A lot of people just think that Blondie is her name. They don't know her name. She's just Blondie. And whoever's standing around her, they just don't notice. A lot of people don't notice anything. I mean, it's like, when Adam started doing those gigs about 10 years ago, whenever it was, I was online. I started asking these middle-aged female Ant fans, saying like, well, you know, who was in the band? What was the band like? I don't need names. I don't need serial numbers of their amps. How many were there? Was there two drummers? Was there one drummer? One guitar? What? What was the lineup? I didn't know. They'd been staring at a stage for an hour and a half. I didn't know what they were looking at. They could just see Adam.
Yeah. We're running out of time again, Marco.
Okay.
Another 40 minutes. What do you want to do? Do you want to do a quick one just to wrap up?
Yeah, we'll do a quick one, yeah.
Let me just download this. It'll be another 5 minutes. I'll be as quick as I can, and then I'll send you another link. Because otherwise, it's just going to end really abruptly and be really dumb.
Yeah.
So let me end this.
Okay.
So get another cup of tea break.
All right. Okay. All right.
There we go. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
So what were you saying about t-shirts?
Yeah, so you were talking about fans who have no idea who the band are apart from the front man, and obviously I was saying about people who are buying t-shirts and they don't actually know, and it's, I know people wear Pink Floyd t-shirts and Iron Maiden and all that, but I don't know, I'm conflicted, because I think if you're wearing a t-shirt you should at least know who the members of the band are.
Well, I mean, but they're music fans and they're t-shirt fans. I don't really. It doesn't. I just know. It doesn't bother me. I mean, maybe it'd bother me if I was Clem. Well, nothing bothers him now, but
no.
Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying. You can't stop people wearing t-shirts.
No.
It's like, remember Von Dutch t-shirts?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, nobody knew who Von Dutch was. It was just the logo, and it just said Von Dutch, and he was this Californian artist, this lowbrow motorcycle hot rod artist. I mean, I know all about Ron Dutch because I like all that stuff. But so, I mean, also, I mean, it was found out that he was a complete Nazi as well.
Was
so
he?
they stopped him. Yeah, he was a complete, total racist, awful bloke. But I didn't know that when. But I never wore a Von Dutch t-shirt. But no one knew who Von Dutch was. It was just the logo.
There's another question which I'm going to drop in. David Fitzgibbon says, "Did you have a
Mm.
gut instinct at the time that Prince Charming would kill the ants as a group?"
No,
That was a quick answer.
no, yeah, no. I wouldn't have done it, would we?
Exactly. Exactly. And there's another one here. Susan Maxwell, Marco, I love you. Will you marry me?
Yeah, all
Youngblood.
right.
Failing that, can you
Yes,
get your Firebird 7 out, please?
I can't. It's in storage, and I have to go for I'll have to go downstairs and go to the garage and try and find it. And I tried to get organised about a couple of years ago by writing on the cases, like what they were, but I only got halfway through, so I don't know what's in any of the cases. But this is a common thing about among guitarists. They have loads of cases, but they have no idea what's in them. So when they're trying to look for something, because it's always like you always want, oh, I really want that Telecaster. Where is it? Where did I put it?
Yeah. Here's a good question. What's
Hmm.
a dream collaboration you haven't done yet, and what would you hope to achieve together?
Um, I suppose my dream collaboration would be Brian Ferry.
Yeah.
I'd love to have played on David, I'd love to play on David Bowie records. The last ones, when he had that good band with Earl and the other guy. Because I mean, it's weird because you think, God, this is brilliant, but I could do that. But then again, I wouldn't want. I'm not very good at just being kind of a session man. I'm not a very good session man because I'm very slow to learn, and I can only really play my own parts. I find it difficult playing other people's parts. So,
Dog eat dog in the background.
yeah, I'd love to work with Brian Ferry, but I don't know if that's possible anymore. In the same way that Johnny Marr played with Brian Ferry. Shut up. So there's a dog next door in the garden.
Now there was something that I should have researched this and I didn't. There was something you worked on. I can't think of the guy's name. It was a Kings of the Wild Frontier reworking. Was it electronic reworking?
Oh, is that a thing I did with Rusty?
Was it with Rusty? I don't
Yeah,
know. I've
maybe.
seen it somewhere and I was going to make a note and I didn't. And I just thought something Johnny is coming up.
Rusty's always sending me messages like, "Oh, go on, send us some guitar, send us a bit of guitar." So I send him a bit of guitar, and I don't know if he touched with it.
We're talking about Rusty Egan, right?
Yeah, never
So,
get paid.
I met him in a club and it was
Mm.
embarrassing. And I went up and I sort of said hi and was chatting. And I said, the Visage drum solo on the 12-inch of Night Train is probably one of my favourite drum solos ever.
Yeah.
And he played it, didn't he? And he just sort of looked at me and went, "Thanks."
Oh, that's not like Rusty just to say one word.
Yeah, no, he was nice. He was nice. But yeah, what a great, I think, that I think the Visage thing is very odd though, isn't it? It's just sort of morphed into another being without him. They keep releasing stuff. It's really strange.
That's it. I haven't really followed Visage. I mean, I mean, I knew Steve and Rusty really, really well. Steve used to be our lodger when I lived in Harrow.
Really?
So yeah, he lived with me and my mum and dad for a couple of months.
Did he?
Yeah.
What year was this?
When he started, just before he started to Blitz, so 79, I think, it was
Okay.
end of 79.
So before his sort of fade to grey success and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I've known him for years.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to know Steve. I mean, and particularly in those days. Rusty and Steve are great talkers. Some of I think two of the world's greatest talkers, particularly Rusty. And Steve is just one of these people who knows everybody in the world.
Yeah. Well, he was the doorman, wasn't he, of the club?
Well, it was his club. Yeah, he did work in the door. He'd just stand on the door, sort of sending people away,
Yeah.
which I really liked, actually.
You can't
Obviously,
come.
he never sent me away because he lived at our house. So,
Yeah, you're guaranteed entry.
yeah, I'm guaranteed entry.
Okay. Well, look,
I'm guaranteed the VIP room. The VIP room at the Blitz is one of the great VIP rooms. It was really hard to get into because it was the thing after punk, and everybody who went there was an ex-punk,
yeah.
but but a '76 punk, and so it became, instead of this kind of working class movement, it became sort of all this elitist, what we thought Roxy music really were like.
Yeah. But didn't isn't there a story
Lobby.
that David Bowie turned up one night and they just
Yeah,
all kind of lost their minds?
yeah. I was there the night Bowie came down.
So what happened?
It had two floors, so I turned up, and it was empty. It was fucking empty downstairs, which it never was. And there was a restaurant upstairs, and so I think someone said, oh, Bowie's here," and but you heard that a lot, like Bowie's going to the Valbonne tonight. We used to hear that a lot at school, and so I got up the stairs through all these crowds of people. I mean, it was absolutely round. I got up the stairs. I could only see him like through these people's heads, like kind of like and there was a long table at the end of the room where he was sitting, and he was sitting next to Steve, obviously. And it was like the Last Supper with Bowie in the middle doing this. It really looked like the Last Supper, and there was sort of glow coming off him. Well, I probably imagined that bit, but and Bowie was like Jesus, because Bowie was the whole basis of that whole thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything was complete, entire basis of New Romantic.
Yeah. I saw on YouTube an interview that he gave with Jeremy Paxman years ago. I mean, years and years ago. And he was talking about the internet and music, and he was so ahead of the curve. He got it. He was talking about how music will be in the future, and Paxman is just like looking at him in disbelief. But he understood how music was going.
Yeah, he did, but he did sink a lot of money into BowieNet, which he never got back.
Oh, did he?
He lost a lot of money on that, yeah.
So what
It
was that?
wasn't quite.
Was that a streaming service for his stuff, or to
It
buy
was
his...
it was just an information service, and because I know the guy who ran it for him, and he just didn't well. I think halfway through he had the heart attack, and so he really kind of didn't really wasn't interested in Bowie anymore, and he just went down.
Yeah. Well, look, this has been interesting. It's going to be a very long episode.
Yeah,
And I was thinking I might break it up into two chunks, but I might just chuck the whole thing up. I don't know. Um, it will probably go up tomorrow because I want to edit it properly.
right.
But so the key takeaways, obviously, we've answered the questions. If your question was answered, I hope you enjoyed it. If it wasn't answered, I apologise, but there were a lot. And Marco's probably going to reply anyway if he sees it. But the
Yeah, I
key
can't
take...
think of anything I didn't answer. the thing about the t-shirts is an interesting thing. I never really thought about that, but it is annoying when people, are a fan of your band or a fan of anyone's band, but they don't know who's in it, and especially when they
Particularly when
meet
the
them. So,
when the
what do
founder
you
members
do?
just died. This is
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
this
Yeah.
guy on Twitter just said, please, if you're going to wear a t-shirt, at least know who the founder member was who's just died. And then everyone's saying, why should she? And then someone said, it's like knowing an
Well, yeah.
artist.
Why should she release a t-shirt?
Yeah, but I mean, she's wearing it as a fashion thing. She's not wearing it because she likes the band, really. She's wearing it because she
No.
likes. But you know, if you're a
I mean,
music fan,
I don't wear band t-shirts, but well, unless it's a Roxy one. But if I wore one, I would know who was in the band and what they did. But I'm a musician. It's my job to know this stuff,
yeah, yeah.
and I would know who produced it. But I know about that stuff,
I was going
and
to
I
ask you
can't seem.
another
I
question.
wouldn't I wouldn't wear a football t-shirt.
No,
I wouldn't wear one. But if I did wear one, I wouldn't have a clue
yeah.
about. If I wore a Chelsea t-shirt, I know nothing about Chelsea football team,
Yeah.
but I
Have
wouldn't
you
wear one.
have you heard that Spinal Tap, the film, is getting redone?
Good. What, remade? Is it Spinal Tap 2 or is
Yeah,
it a
it's a
remake?
it's a 30-year on Spinal Tap film.
Good. Good. Well, when they reform.
Yeah, well they did. I've got somewhere in my little studio. Where is it?
Yeah.
I've got so I actually saw Spinal Tap in the 90s. They did a one night world
Right.
tour at the Albert Hall, and
Yeah.
it was fantastic. Um, and then a few years ago, they re-released, or they didn't re-release, they redid another album. Um, and then they've just announced they're doing another film,
Right.
which is going to be really strange. But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Spinal Tap of all the rock films I've ever seen, of all the rock films ever been made, Spinal Tap is the one that's closest to reality. That is what it's like. That is really what it's like with the
Yeah,
singer's girlfriend and all that, and the mad manager, and you can't find a dressing room. We've done it. Everybody has done it,
yeah, yeah.
like come away from that guitar. That's me.
I love it where he's sitting in the dressing room, and he says, "I've just." The tour manager comes up and says, "What's it?" He goes, "I'm just trying to get to grips with this." He's what he goes. "I've been working with it for a while," and he gets his sandwich
Yeah,
and starts folding it. And he goes, and I keep folding it, and it keeps breaking up. And he goes, "No, don't fold it, fold the ham." Yeah, but if you do that, I'm professional. I'll rise above it.
yeah. Terry was always like that. It was always something about like he didn't like his seat in first class or something. It was like, well, for fuck's sake, what do you want to do? Sit on the pirate's lap. There isn't. This is it. This is as good as it gets.
God. Oh God.
I don't like this seat. I don't like sit. I want to sit at the. Oh God, all right.
Yeah,
Do you want to swap seats? Why do you want to swap seats? It's all like that. It really is like that.
yeah. It's
It's
yeah. I
like
think I think a lot of bands I've heard play Spinal Tap on the tour bus.
yeah, every band plays it on the tour bus. But what, that's sort of strange because they're living it. They live it every day.
Yeah.
We're
Let me see if
doing
I can
Spinal
find a
Tap.
novel that I call a studio. What have I done with it? What have I done with it? All right, I've got a framed. I've moved it, but I don't know where it is. Oh, is that no? I don't know where it is. Anyway, I'll put it in the edit. I've basically got a framed thing when I saw them. When they played at the Albert Hall, in the film,
Yeah,
Stonehenge comes down and it's tiny,
yeah,
tiny, and there's little dwarfs. When they played the Albert Hall,
yeah.
when Stonehenge came down, it was too big to fit on the stage. It's just bizarre, but really, really good. And it's
Yeah, but No, everyone's done this. It's all true. It's like the awful New York PR woman. Yeah, like Barbie Fleckman.
Yeah,
Oh God, no, that brings back fucking awful memories. New
yeah.
York PR woman. And when the fucking it's like our Prince Charming review, like when the shit wouldn't come out. I mean, it is completely that.
What's that?
But we had a big ship on stage that would come out. It
Okay.
would come majestically through the dry ice, really. And
Yeah.
basically, although there was some talk of like, oh, we want a motorized ship, with a motor, remote control motorized ship. That's just too expensive. I think that's probably me actually, and then calmer minds prevailed and said, no, look, why don't we just have it on rails and some of the crew push it? It'd be a lot cheaper and easier. So, and then it got stuck one night. I got stuck one night, and we were sort of playing this song. And the ship's supposed to come out, and everyone goes, no, it didn't come out. And Adam was supposed to be on top of it with his thing, with his sword or his stick. And I was just looking around, it wasn't coming out. And then I looked at the side of the stage. Adam was in hysterics at the side of the stage.
What, laugh his head off?
It left. He was laughing. He was really laughing
Really?
because he knew that we were stuck on stage playing this fucking song over and over again, and he wasn't there to
Waiting
come
for the
in.
ship that never came.
Yeah, waiting for the shit, and we waiting for the singer that never came. So we had to keep playing it.
That's like, what song is it on Spinal Tap where they get in the pods and one of them gets half stuck in it, and they get stuck in it and have to try and get him out? I'm trying to think what song that is.
Yeah, it was that.
Is
It
that
was exactly
Stonehenge?
that.
I
No,
think
I can't remember. It's like Love Nerve or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know their songs.
yeah, I know Nigel's written a very good one called Lick My Love Pump.
Yeah, Lick My Love Pump.
Which is that piano thing that he does. Anyway, that's I think that'll be good when that comes out. Um, okay, so to recap, Aid wanted me to mention that he's done prints of all the ants. So I'm going to put a link in the description. He actually sent me one of Adam, which I hadn't seen before. And he sent me a couple more today, actually. Let me have a look what he sent me.
Is that the one that Adam's in the leather t-shirt?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let me have a look. Um, yeah, it's the one where yeah, he's got the leather t-shirt, and then he's also sent me uh let's have a look. He's done Marco Merrick, Terry Lee, Gary Tibbs,
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. Yeah, they're really good.
Paper
Particularly the
was.
one, particularly the one of me.
Yeah, he's also done one of Steve Jones as well. He sent me.
The one of Kevin's good.
Yeah, is that this one?
Yeah,
That one.
yeah,
Yeah, and he's also shown me that one as well.
yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, I saw it today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Talented guy. Yeah, so
Yeah,
link will be in description. Anyone that hasn't seen the previous episodes, there was the interview we did just after the new year with Marco, and then there's the follow-up interview where we talk about Sparks quite a lot, don't we?
yeah. We did
Um,
talk about Sparks, but Sparks should be talked about.
they
I think.
should. They should.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you heard the new album?
I've got it, but I haven't heard it. I've downloaded it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
I think they're doing a few dates, aren't they, in the UK, I think. Pretty certain.
Yeah, last time a couple of years ago, I saw them in Nottingham, and I went
Did you?
backstage and they signed my jigsaw puzzle and my Sparks songbook.
I think you said you've got it on display in your front room, haven't you?
I have,
Yeah,
but a jigsaw puzzle and the songbook.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's great that they're still going and still creating.
But I met them before, and I had to remind them. I said, "We met before, like, but back in the 80s, in a posh Indian restaurant in Westbourne Grove.
Yeah.
And they were doing what's the I
One my
can't
sucker.
remember.
They were doing the boxing match,
Is
weren't
it
they?
one my did I tell you a story about the
Yeah,
boxing
you said they were
match?
doing the boxing match, and you said
Yeah, and
they
they
were
invited me
touring.
to come.
You were
Yeah,
touring.
no, yeah, they invited me to the photo session for Want That Sucker.
Yeah,
But I couldn't go because we had to go to Belgium or something that day.
yeah, that would have been interesting.
I'd rather have gone to their boxing match. No, I love the questions.
Yeah, and I hope if you did get a question answered, I hope you liked it. If you didn't get a question, and I do apologise, but there were a lot, weren't there? It's hard keeping up with it.
Yeah,
You've got all these different
yeah,
Facebook groups with all these people adding comments, and it's just like, you know, hopefully I've done you all
yeah,
proud.
yeah. I mean, it didn't get too technical about guitar, so we didn't get into changing the valves.
No, I
Didn't
did.
get into groove tubes.
I did edit that question, and I did delete some questions were copying or very similar to other questions that we'd asked. You know, like the guitar questions. You know, did you use different guitars for overdubs on the albums? You know, I think we're going to lose people if we go
Yeah,
down that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I used loads of guitars with different guitar for every overdub, and I
yeah.
did a lot of overdubs on those albums.
Okay. All right. Well, look, when the book is near to completion, get in touch with me
Yeah,
and I'm happy to do a video to promote it and talk about it and all that stuff. I mean, you know, I know there are, you know, a lot of people that are still really interested in that whole period. You've just got to look at the viewing figures for that first video that we did after Christmas.
was
You
it
know,
millions?
not millions, but you know, it had I think nearly 12,000 views, which is
Right.
pretty
Okay.
impressive. Um,
Yeah.
and you know, most people seem to like it. And
Yeah,
I think
I wonder if other guitarists from defunct bands uh, get as many views. I wonder if Will Sargent would get as many views as me.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of another 80s. I mean, I've seen other 80s artists do YouTube videos and they don't get many views at all being interviewed.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but you know, it depends. You know, this channel, my this little channel, it's very niche and it's very small. So it's really nice when I get a video that
Yeah,
does do really well.
but all podcasts are niche. That's the whole point of them. You can do niche things with them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a video on my
Yeah.
channel, which I think I told you. Oh, by the way, did you get around to watching that Evil Knievel documentary that I?
Yeah, I did.
What did you
I've seen
think?
it. I've seen it before, especially the bit with the rocket bike. I mean, God Almighty! I mean, that it really is.
There was I was saying that on my channel, there's an episode that I did. I went on holiday to Brighton and basically just walked around the lanes and filmed, and I filmed up Quadrophenia Alley and stuff. That video
Hmm.
has got a life of its own. Honestly, I just filmed it on a whim and just put a load of Jam and Who stuff, and then off I went and edited it. It gets views every day. It's just, uh,
Really?
and it's not my favorite video. It's just one that it just does
Well,
so
that
well. And
sometimes
I'm like,
happens, you
why?
know.
I mean, I'm glad it does well, but
Yeah, I know, but I mean that sometimes happen. I've had people go, you know, my favourite song is so and so, and you go, really? He says, yeah, yeah, it's completely genius, it's the best thing you ever did. Really?
yeah,
That,
yeah,
you know, something you don't think much of.
yeah,
It happens that way. Sometimes you don't, the thing you don't really put much effort into, and you
yeah,
just knock it together really quickly, really, really works for that reason.
yeah.
Because you haven't, you know, overthought it or like kind of like flogged the
Yeah,
life out of
yeah,
it. Like,
totally. I think for that particular episode, I think you're spot on. I think it is what it is. It
Yeah.
is. Look at the mod scene in Brighton with mod music, and that's it. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's nothing. It's nothing clever about it. But it's just,
Yeah.
I'm blown away how many people have watched it. It's the biggest episode on my channel by miles, and I don't earn a penny. I don't earn a penny for it. Oh, oh. But
Well,
anyway,
that's weird.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, listen. This has been a very fantastic episode. I thank you once again. Have you got any birthday plans for this evening?
I'm just going to see a friend. And there's nothing to do. I know to go. And my girlfriend's away, so no, I'm not doing anything. Utterly depressing birthday.
Can't get a takeaway or go for a nice meal or something?
Eh?
Go for a nice meal or go for a takeaway or
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do. I'm going to
go...
go for a nice meal with a friend who's taking me out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, look, I hope you have a lovely time. Sorry you didn't get many presents. Come on, Ant fans, you've let Marco down. Why do they won't know where to send them?
Yeah, that's all right. No, it's all right. I've got enough tat in the house and stuff.
Okay. Listen, it's been a fantastic episode. I thank you, Marco, for doing it again. And get in touch as soon as you're. I mean, when do you think the book will be done? Do you think it'll be done this year?
I don't know. I think we've got to deliver. I haven't really kind of like the whole technical thing about like I know how to make an album and I know how to make a song. Like I know how long it's got to be and I know when it's finished. But when she said yeah it's 45,000 words, um, and we're halfway through. I said well who decided it was going to be 90,000 words? She said well I did. Well, you can ask me. But she said that's the optimum unless it's like if you've got unlimited if you have to set yourself a word count unless you've got unlimited words you just go on and on and on and on.
Yeah. I'm just having a look. How many words in autobiography approximate? A
90,000.
memoir word count tends to be between 60 and 100,000 words. Shorter than that, you will not have
Yeah,
enough substance. So what did you say your word count is?
90,000.
90.
Oh
So
no, at the moment the 90 it's at the moment it's 45,000 but it's going to be 90,000 or over.
yeah. So it says that it should be between 60 and 100. So that's spot on. That's spot on.
Yeah.
And are you happy with what you've done so far that you've read? And
Oh, I haven't read it all together. I have been told by people who do this for a living that when you've done it, you should read it out, and if it feels odd, like in your own voice, then you should change it.
right.
Just read it out to yourself out loud. Just read it out loud, and then you'll know if it's actually something you would say.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't sound alien to you.
Yeah, it doesn't sound alien.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see it. So yeah, get in touch when the time is right, and I will share it with the rest of my audience. And can I just say, everyone that's subscribed to the channel recently, thank you very much. It is appreciated. And it's only a 2-year-old channel, but it's doing really well, and I am pleased to see that.
Well done.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, did you enjoy that? Was that a good for you?
Yes, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I don't get to talk to anybody anymore. I mean, I do get. Uh, Actually, I mean, I've been doing these interviews for this book, and it's really strange because you do get bored with talking about yourself. Actually,
Yeah.
well, I do. I saw a long interview with Michael Bracewell and Brian Ferry, and you can see Brian. I mean, and Michael Bracewell is completely obsessed with Ferry, and you could see about halfway through, like Ferry thinks, I don't know what else to say. It's like I'm bored with talking to myself, and he's a rock star.
Yeah. 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 Well, look, it's good. It's kind of. I think when you have these questions, it's really good for the fans because obviously they feel they've got a connection. I mean, you're very sort of active on social media anyway, so people can reach
Well,
out
I'm
to you.
not. I mean, I'm more active than I want to be, but uh, I, I'm conscious of the fact that you need to be honest. If I'm putting something out and I want people to buy it, and I want a new car, then I've got to be out there, kind of like being visible. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I was not on social media for a long, long time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm only on Facebook and X and obviously YouTube. I'm on Instagram,
I
but I
read
don't.
X, but I read X, but I've never. Uh, when I was doing that band Wolfman, I was told by the PR, you've got to have a Twitter account, as it then was, and I opened the Twitter account. I just stood there. I sat there in front of this screen for all night, thinking, I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I've got nothing to say, really.
yeah,
Buy Wolfman records. Well, that's it.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
then I
the
will
thing on
make them
Twitter,
happy.
there's a couple of people that retweet my stuff, and
Yeah,
that really does help. And they, you know, they're big channels. They're sort of punk related, and they will
yeah.
share
You've
and retweet.
got to have it.
Second,
You have got to have it. You've got to have it. I've got it. I've got to have it. But once I've done this book, if I'm not doing anything else, I don't really want to be on social media.
yeah.
I don't really like it.
I'll tell you what I don't like about social media, and that's if you go on Facebook and you accidentally look at a picture of, say, a mountain bike jumping, then your
Yeah,
feed is
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
bikes jumping. It's like, no, no, no. And it's
Yeah.
like YouTube as well. YouTube, you'll watch a video
YouTube like that. Yeah,
about Ken Dodd, let's say, and then you'll go back to YouTube the next day, and every video is about Ken Dodd. It's like, okay, I wanted to watch one, but I don't want to watch the entire life story of Ken Dodd. That's just an example, but
yeah,
that's how the algorithm works, and it does drive you mad.
yeah. I once read a book about Norwegian black metal, and I thought I never heard any Norwegian black metal, so I should go and download some. And so I listened to it. It is the worst music ever made. But after that, my YouTube thing was just full of Norwegian black metal. The
Yeah,
last fucking
replace it
thing
with
you
something
want to.
else. Search for something else and get rid of it. And any fans of Norwegian black metal, you are entitled to like.
Pneumatic drills or something, or building.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's millions of them.
is there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they always terrible makeup. It's black and white makeup, badly applied, sort of bad makeup.
Yeah,
With all kind of spiders' webs on their face. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's a horrible genre of music, and it's a horrible fashion.
I don't. I can't say I know it. I can't say I know.
No, but don't. It's best that you don't invite it into your life.
Don't invite it into your YouTube search unless you want your
No,
feet to
no,
be
don't.
overtaken.
No, have nothing to keep right away from it.
Excellent. Okay, well, it's been a really good chat. I really appreciate your time, Marco. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
All right, I'm gonna take the dogs for a walk.
Take the dogs for a walk, yeah, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, see you later.